Hi, welcome to my channel, Gracie's Goose. Today we are going to make a beef brisket, which I've made many times for my family. And this is actually going to be very delicious. It kind of reminds me of prime rib, like it's going to be dipped in au jus. And you're going to want to make this over and over again. I used to make it just for holidays, but because everybody loves it so much, I make it all the time now. So let's get started. Okay, I don't want you to be intimidated. It is a large piece of meat, but it doesn't mean we can't tackle it. Okay, now the first thing you want to do is you want to preheat your oven to 400, like so. All right, while you're cutting the fat off. Now I trim away a lot of this fat because when you eat fat, it attaches to your fat. That's pretty gross. So I like to trim it away, but I don't cut it all off because fat adds a lot of flavor too. So you want to keep some on there. So I'm just trimming some away here. And I don't know if you can see this. Can you see this? How it's just kind of rubbery. You want to get all that off because we are going to put some deliciousness on the top of this. And we want it to be able to penetrate the meat. And I don't know if you can see this come a little closer. This is really tough. So what you want to do, and be very careful, you have to use a very sharp knife. So you want to be very careful you don't cut your fingers. But what I do is I just kind of, stick the knife in, then I lift up and I kind of scoot my knife across. And I go like this to get this off. And a lot of times you'll find this like on a pork shoulder too. You just want to get this part off so all the stuff that you put on here, all your seasonings and whatnot, get into the meat. Okay, so after you get the first side done, it is a little bit of time consuming, and for some reason these briskets always have a lot of fat on them. So I always pick them up when they're on sale because, let's face it, a prime rib is super expensive. And trust me, you're going to like this almost just as much, if not the same. So then you want to flip it over, and then you want to trim the fat also on the other side. Okay, so this is pretty much what you're left with. I did leave some fat on because remember, we got to have that flavor infused in there. And don't be intimidated by the amount of fat that you, that you do cut off, because these are always really fatty. In fact, I think a lot of people go to the store, I know I was one of them, and I'd be like, oh my God, I'm paying all that for fat, but once you trim it away, trust me, these things are absolutely delicious. Okay, so anyway, I happen to have a big restaurant pan here, but if you don't have one of these briskets, when you buy the whole brisket like this, I suppose you could probably buy a smaller portion, but I always buy the big ones. You get a better bargain, and you can get like a million meals out of it, sandwiches, whatever. But if you don't have a big pan like this, you can always cut it and then, to fit your pan. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we want a little bit of water to the bottom of the pan. This is a cup of water, okay? And then, let me just wash my hands real quick because I touched the meat. Okay. I must wash my hands a million times a day. Okay. Now, I know I grew up in New England, and they always had this stuff. It was called Gravy Master. So when I came out here, I couldn't find it anywhere. But this is pretty much equivalent to Gravy Master. It's Kitchen Bouquet. Okay, so you just want to, it's like a browning seasoning sauce. You just want to add, whoop, whoop, about like that. 2 little splashes, probably 2 tablespoons. Okay. And I take my little whisk and I just whisk it in the water, just like this. And this is all the water that you really need, because as your brisket's cooking, the fat's gonna cook down, all the juices are gonna come out, and you are going to have this beautiful au jus. Trust me, it really is to die for. Okay, so the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna take almost a full cup of mustard. And I know, yes, it's a lot of mustard, but trust me, this is a big brisket, so you are going to need it. And your brisket will not taste mustardy whatsoever. This just adds a ton of flavor. So what I like to do is just get a little brush, and you wanna brush it all on like that, all over generously, okay? And I know you're thinking, oh my gosh, lady, that's a lot of mustard, but trust me, you guys will absolutely love it. My grandkids love it, right? Kenzie is actually my producer, and she's filming right now. So this is one of our family faves. Probably another reason why I try to get the biggest ones I could find, because in my family, they go so fast. Okay, so after you do that to one side, like so, nice and slathered on there, then you're gonna take some, just a little bit more right there. Okay. A little bit of ground pepper. Well, actually, not a little bit. You really want to be generous with this too. Actually, everything you put on here, with the exception of the seasoned salt, you are going to generously put a good amount. You see that? Okay, so lots of pepper, because this is where all your flavoring is going to come in. Then we're going to, now remember I said everything except for the seasoned salt would be generous, because you don't want, you know, super salty where it's all you taste is salt. So, you know, about like that. And then your garlic powder, I'm going to sprinkle that on there too. This I'm not really heavy-handed with either. You know, just kind of medium. Just make sure it's all covered. Boom. There you go. Okay. Now this is minced onion, dried minced onion, okay? So much flavor is going to be infused by using these guys. These, you want to make it look like it just snowed all over your roast. Ooh. Nice generous amount here, all over. Make sure it's covered really, really well. Okay. So after you do this side, you just want to kind of give it a little pat. Okay, like that. And then you're going to take your pan and you're going to turn it over. Heavy. Just like that. Well, not just like that, but kind of like that. You want to place it into your water that you've got mixed with your browning sauce, okay? And I always keep, you know, whichever side's fattier, I keep that side up, so the fat, as it's cooking, goes all through the meat and just infuses in there, okay? So let me just wash my hands real quick again. And we're gonna go ahead and do the other side the same way we did the first side. So at this point, this is what it's going to look like. Get a close-up of that. Okay, and then we are going to cover it with some heavy-duty foil, which I already have here. And the beauty about this roast is you don't even have to touch it the whole time. Just leave it alone, ignore it. It's It's not going to bother you. You don't bother it. Okay, so you want to tuck your foil in on the sides because that little bit of water and the fat coming down is what's really going to cook this meat, make it nice and tender, but you don't want to get it to where you want to shred it, okay? You want nice slices. So into the oven we go. And your oven's preheated. And this is going to go for about 3.5 to 4 hours. At 3.5 hours, we're going to check it and then see if it has to go another half hour. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so the roast has been in there for 3.5 hours. And I like to check it at that point to see the doneness. So let's pull this baby out and take a look at her. Okay. Fork here. And let's unveil her. Okay. Just be very careful because this thing is like loaded with steam underneath this foil, so just gotta be careful. Wrap that on there super tight. Okay, wow, look at that. That little piece of foil off of there. Okay, so we're gonna let it go the extra half hour. It's tender, but I just want it to get just a little bit warm. So we're gonna cover her back up and put her back in for the extra half hour here. And we'll get working on that crostini. Okay, so it has been 4 hours now that the roast has been cooking. So at this point, we want to take it out. Oh, steam bath. All right. Oh, look at that baby. All right, so we're going to put it out in the oven. And we're going to go ahead and remove this foil very carefully so you don't burn your fingers. Oh, look how beautiful that is. Okay. Alright, so that's what it's gonna look like when it comes out. Set over there. And you see these beautiful juices. Oh, that's what's gonna make a beautiful au jus. Okay, so at this point, you want to just stick it back in and just kind of let it brown up just a little bit more while you're working on your crusty bread, which we're going to get into right now. I don't drop it. Okay, so come on over here. And the reason why I do a crusty bread with it is because you want to have something to dip in that au jus other than the beef, and this is like the best thing. Okay, so I just have little baguettes here. You can certainly use ciabatta bread or a sourdough baguette or, you know, whatever you like. Okay, so should probably just do one. But anyway, so you just want to cut it down the middle here horizontally, okay, just like this. And you're going to open it up and see the inside kind of looks like ciabatta. It's a very stiff bread. And then you're going to just kind of take your olive oil and drizzle, just like that. And then you want to just take some dried parsley and just kind of sprinkle it over, like so. Okay. You know, maybe I'll do, I don't know, should I do both baguettes? Maybe. Since I got everything out, why not? Okay. Okay, so we'll just do a couple more since I got room on the foil here. Plus, your whole family is going to love this, so you're going to want lots of bread. Okay. So just another little sprinkle. And the only thing I would say that you need to be careful of at this point is to not let the bread burn. Okay, so come on out back over here and let's pull this roast out. Ooh, baby. Come to mama. Come to mama. Oh. Okay. And then you're going to take your crostinis, and I just put it on a nice thick piece of foil so I don't have another pan to wash up. I just set them in there, and the oven's super hot from the roast already. So then we are going to here get your cutting board over here, and you might want to catch me from this side, Mackenzie. And then I am going to carefully lift this heavy roast out of the oven, out of the pan. Okay, and I got these little gadgets that I like to use. These are my turkey ones too. But one on each end. Whoa, this is perfect. Perfectly done. Okay, then you set it on your cutting board just like that. Okay? And then at this point, you want to take your, now I like to use real butter for this because, you know, this is a very rich dish, which I melted in the microwave too. You know, just to kind of get a little softer. So you just want to take a stick of butter. So we're going to have a little asparagus, and what I did is I cut off the ends, and then I let the water, only just a very little bit of water in the bottom. I let it come to a boil, and then I just shut it off, but I left it on the stove. And when you do that, they'll be done perfect. Squeeze a lemon juice over the top there. Okay. And then I like to hit it just with a little bit of olive oil too. It's just nice glistening. Okay, and then we're going to turn the burner back on. A nice slice there. Mackenzie, try that. Would you like to try a piece, Kenz?
Sure.
Oh, that is so nice and tender. Very tender.
Mm.
So you're just going to make nice little slices here. Just like that. How is it?
Delicious.
Good. It's hard not to talk with your mouth full, huh? Okay, so I'll cut these in half because these roasts are pretty wide. And then I like to serve them in a nice little serving dish like this. Okay. A little taste. Oh my God. Delicious. Absolutely delicious. And you want to take your garlic and you're just going to rub the bread with your garlic, just like that. And that garlic flavor is going to infuse all over. I actually think, because this is such a big clove, that one clove could do all 4 of these. It's going to infuse all in your bread. Even to just eat this is absolutely delicious too. Okay, just one last thing. And look, we still got garlic left over.
Beautiful color.
Okay. So now, slide that au jus. Yeah, much better. Okay, so we have a little bit of this on the side. Come on over here. Okay. And then I also like to just ladle a little bit over my meat. Keeps it nice and moist. Just like that. Plate. Okay. And then, come on over here, honey. I'm just going to serve this up right here. And then we got our beautiful asparagus on the side. Just like that. And then I also made a horseradish sauce, which we have here. I'm just letting all the flavors come together and marry. Okay, some of that in a little dish to serve it on the side. And you know, if you like it more hotter, you can add more horseradish. If you want it mild, you just add a little horseradish. Okay, so then you want to set that on the plate. And then just a little sprinkling of parsley just to pretty it up. So you're going to take your bread, and I like to cut it on an angle just because I think it looks prettier. My knife. Okay, so let me move this out of the way. Yeah, I like to cut it just on an angle like that. Okay, so then you're just going to serve this up with your plate, just like this. And there you go.